Namaskar, guys. I am Neil, and I welcome all of you to IFoS module. This is a 5 minute section that I'm shooting to have a value resonance between you and I, so as to tell you how to best use the PYQ mapping videos and why I am not giving you this video as a standalone video, and why I am stitching this video in front of every PYQ mapping video is because I want these principles to be internalized in your psyche, in your consciousness. So we'll very quickly, within the next 5 minutes, um, go over the methodology in PYQ mapping. What do I expect out of you? How to best use these videos? And then I expect you to never skip this section. After you watch it a couple of times, of course, there are, I think, 6 7 subjects for which we'll be creating the PYQ mapping section. You will be tempted to skip it after the second, third time, but I kid you not, if you just stick to the process, just go through these 5 minutes of repetitive discussion, it will become so internalized that you and I will become, will come on the same page. And the resonance, you will see the results on the ground. Only time and your mark sheet will be a testament of how effective the pedagogy has been. So coming to the pedagogy, it has been very carefully defined for optimization of learning, something we'll discuss as and how we come to the relevant sections. But you to understand that every component in the course, starting from syllabus parsing to PYQ mapping to analysis or model answers for last 5 year papers, has been designed in a way so as to maximize the resonance between the two of us. Here I don't care, when we are when you're watching this video, you're not watching it in a group. It's a one-to-one conversation, and it is as good as me conversing with you on a one-to-one basis. And I will ensure that you know the learning is optimized. So we're going to use nothing, we're going to use number one, basic sources. And you will not, I don't want you to take my word for it. As and how you go through the questions in the sections to come and the discussions, you realize we are using only the basic sources, nothing extraordinary. We will focus on structuring is nothing. Structuring is getting the clues and from the question itself, from the way the question is framed. And we'll see this over and over again. Someone who understands the art of structuring will be able to answer, will be able to find a significant chunk of the answer and the approach from the question itself over and over again. And we will also, with structuring, learn how to apply logical reasoning at times. At most of the places, that britishers were bad britishers were bad. If you know this basic dictum, whenever they are speaking about the characterization of the British rule in a lot of different ways, you'll be able to handle it well. Wherever there were exceptions, you have learnt it in the basic sources. So it is all an amalgamation. It's an art, and the art improves with practice. And with practice, you realize it is nothing but a combination of using basic sources, knowing the art of structuring, practicing with me, and applying logical reasoning as and how we move forward. After structuring, it is, structuring is like giving the skeleton, but the flesh, in an analogy, are the dimensions. You will get the real substance from how well you could dimensionalize, how many points you could write. And syllabus parsing is the edifice of dimensionalization. Easily, I will strongly encourage, do not be too smart. If you have not watched syllabus parsing until now, do not start watching this video. Go back, watch, complete the syllabus parsing end to end. I say this over and over again: hard and fast compartmentalization never existed in GS 1 2 3. It is one. You will realize it with time. If you do not want to believe me, time will tell you this in unfortunate ways. They will ask the same questions in different GS. This is in UPSC, and in GK you just have one paper. Of course, you might say that this question number 2 comes from polity, one comes from history, but interlinkages always can be established, and you will see the testament in front of you. You will see the examples and the applications in front of you. And I will strongly encourage, before, do not, let's say if you're watching the history PYQ mapping, do not just come here after watching the PYQ, the syllabus parsing for history. Go watch the entire, those 6 7 syllabus parsing videos I've given you, and then come back, and you will realize in time why I say that syllabus parsing is the edifice. It is the base on which the dimensionalization will be developed. Brainstorm each question before watching the videos. I will expect you to watch it at least twice, plus caveat that I'll discuss. But the first time you watch, ensure that you have a pen and paper handy for two reasons: in your first watch, also in the second watch. In the first watch, before you see the analysis and my discussion of any question, my structuring of any question, you have to pause the video and structure it yourself and brainstorm it yourself, so that you're able to establish the baseline, so that before watching the video, this was my level. you know and then after watching the video, you realize how much I have helped you elevate it. Because if you make the mistake of not brainstorming it yourself, I won't call it a mistake, but then you will lose sight of the real IP, you will lose sight of the real work and the real change that is happening inside your neural nets. You would feel that yes, of course, it was obvious, there was nothing extraordinary. You could have also brainstormed it. On the other hand, if you start brainstorming yourselves before watching the video, you realize that you are only able to, let's say, find 4 points at max, and I'm able to tell you how to generate 10 to 12. So always in the first iteration, brainstorm yourselves. And why? Again, I have developed this process over a long period of time. The pedagogy has been defined, designed for optimization of learning. So follow the process. And as I now I'm telling you, for the maximum resonance, watch the videos at least twice. First time, binge watch to understand the essence. While you're binge watching the first time, then I want you to brainstorm. Before you watch every question, pause, on a piece of paper, just make note, structure, watch the video, then go to the next question. This is how you should watch the first time. The second time, make rough running notes of the shared ideas. So I will give you some pointers as notes, some pointers are given in notes as PPT, and then some points I will orally dictate you, while we are brainstorming on the go. you know while we are brainstorming on the go. Why do I say that? Because active learning only happens when you're writing. If you're passively watching, binge watching, it is as if you're watching The Big Bang Theory or The Friends. It's not a soap opera that you've come to watch. So, and those notes need not to be very elaborate, need not be very beautifully made. I call them dirty notes. They should be very, very, should be very, very, very handy, should be very, very handy in running handwriting. In running handwriting, they should be made, so that later you can just refer them in conjunction with the PPTs or the handouts that are given, and then you can revise and then take your game up from there. The first time, binge watch to understand the essence and brainstorm with that before watching every section. Number two, make rough running notes in the second iteration that I orally dictate, and then later you can watch it n number of times to categorically for sections that are hard to understand. Nothing extraordinary. If any value add has to be given, I will give you the value add in the sections. Nothing you have to do. The role of the course is to be a one stop solution. It's a one stop solution. You watch these videos, you don't have to go anywhere else. That's a personal assurance. And this is like an appendix of sorts for you, that in addition to dimensionalization is about width, so that, let's say, you're able to write n number of points. But how to ensure that every point is qualified, is full of quality, is using the ICE framework, something I like to call the ICE framework. Every point, ideally, to for the ideal point, should have an idea. Start off with an idea, should have in contextualization, you should expand it, and you should substantiate with example. Idea, contextualization, and example. How this fits in the bigger realm, maybe in different sections, we'll see in the sections to come. you know this is all I had to communicate. I will stitch this section in front of all PYQ mapping videos as suggested, and I would expect you to not skip it. Internalize these principles, and for any queries, feel free to drop the queries at the rate helpdesk UPSC. Okay, let's start with the PYQ mapping section now.